All right, we are live. Welcome back to Stock Tricks with Nick for this week's trading recap. I was going to do this last night, but yesterday I got two cavities filled and I sounded like Jordan Belfort, so figured I'd push this to this morning and make it a live stream so we could be more interactive with some of the charts that we cover. So as you guys can see, really great week. This is my best trading week since I started keeping track like last June, up 9%, 3,800 in my normal trading account, up like 2,500 in the Roth. So great week overall. And this came off of, if you remember, last Friday, all the growth stocks were flushing. Last week was a great week as well, and then I gave back half, even more than half the gains with Friday's flush. So stepping into this week, I was expecting to get knocked out of the remaining positions and maybe we pull back and set up, but because I didn't panic sell on Friday, had some positions going into the week, and because we did all the research for Sunday's breakout watch list and in that live stream on Wednesday, we found a ton of really quality winners, even while trading defensively. So we'll be going over many charts today, but just wanted to call out that you could trade defensively and still get your best week ever if the stocks are falling your way. So if you're watching this after the live stream, all the timestamps for the stocks that we cover are going to be in the comments. So if there's a specific one that you guys want to see, just click down to that one. Quick thank you for all of the subs. Hit 3,000 when I woke up this morning. That's an incredible number. We just hit 1,000 right around my birthday in October. So the fact that we're growing so quickly, we must be doing something right. And I just appreciate all your guys' support. So agenda today, we'll go over market recap, the normal indexes, Tik Tok Trading Challenge, the 4 stocks that you guys were choosing from. And I traded 3 of those, so we can break down how I traded those. Look back over our watch list from Sunday and then the live stream on Wednesday and show you all the open positions that I currently have. If you are interested in stock trading content, please subscribe to the channel. Share this with anyone that you might think enjoy it as well, and follow me on StockTwits, TikTok, and Twitter. All right, quick disclaimer, anything that I talk about is my personal opinion only, not stock or financial advice, just for educational purposes only. Please do your own due diligence. Trading comes with financial risk. All right, so quick market recap. Shortened trading week. Remember Martin Luther King Jr. Day on Monday. So Tuesday, Wednesday, market took off. Thursday, Friday, kind of sideways action, but still S&P 500 up 1.9. The Q's up 4.3 off the rebound on Tuesday. Dow Jones 0.6%, and that FFTY IBD top 50. That's the one that I really look at for trading growth stocks. That had 4.6% up. So no wonder why we had such a good week. Large caps joined the party. Netflix reported earnings. They had great earnings. Apple, Amazon started moving up, and now the markets are starting to get a little frothy. If you follow me on StockTwits, I posted Mark Minervini's video that he posted about how things are getting a little bit too euphoric. We'll get to some of the charts in a second, but from that point, I was trading defensively, but you could trade defensively, still put on new trades, and find some really big winners. So let's jump to the charts of the indexes. So S&P 500. So here was Monday. Remember Friday, we flushed down to the 20-day simple moving average. Monday, higher highs, higher lows. Or sorry, Tuesday, higher highs, higher lows, shortened trading week. Wednesday, really strong move up to the upper Bollinger Band. Another, I guess, higher high, higher low on Thursday, and then some down action on Friday. Not bad, down 0.35%. But now we're trading back between that upper Bollinger Band and the 8-day exponential moving average. Next we have Qs. This is what's getting me to be a little bit cautious. We're now over the upper Bollinger Band. Last time we did that, we had a couple of days of pulling back. In October, kind of same story, started pulling back, and in September, same thing. So Starting to get a little bit of cautious, definitely trading defensively. Should move that over here. But I mean, still looks strong from here. Dow Jones starting to lag behind a little bit. You can see relative strength compared to QQQs. That's now in a downtrend, but still over the 20-day simple moving average. Not bad. And FFTY, we zoom out, this was that chop box from basically September's blow off top to, let's see, mid-December, where breakout stocks just choppy, choppy, choppy. Did not make much money during this period, but once the trend started going in our favor, we found a lot of really great breakout stocks, and you can see now this is just, I mean, for FFTY to be 11% extended from the breakout point, we might need a couple days to pull back, but until the market really shows me that we're ready to pull back, I'm just going to be moving stops up to entries, taking some profit on the way up, but not trying to call the top by any means. All right, so that was the market recap. Oh. So quick look at the Tik Tok Trading Challenge. Remember, all the money that I make on TikTok, throw into a Robinhood account each week from the Breakout Watchlist that I post on Sunday morning. You'll be able to vote from 4 different stocks, and however the votes are allocated is how I allocate the money in the Robinhood account. Buy Monday morning when the market opens, sell 10 minutes to go on Friday. So this week you guys got to choose between DOCU, FEYE, TENB, and Joe. I traded myself, FEYE, TENB, and Joe, and basically kind of sideways action for these guys. The fund returned 0.16% this week, so not great, while I got 9.23%. I now have about a 10% lead on it, but if at the end of the year that TikTok trading fund outperforms my own personal account, I'll be taking whatever's in that Robinhood account and giving it away. And all you have to do to sign up for that is just drop your Twitter or TikTok handle in the comments of that initial TikTok video that I posted on YouTube. If you go to my channel, it's the first one that's on there. But let's jump into how some of these stocks traded and why I had them on the breakout watch list as well. Because you see these 4, I mean, they weren't big winners, but there's a couple of stocks that we'll be calling out later that were looking really good. So DOCU, that's this one. This was just going to be a pullback buy. You had strong action going up to the upper Bollinger Band, and then a couple days of pulling back to the 8-day exponential moving average on very light volume. So the idea behind this was just take it as it breaks over the previous day's high on Friday. Ideally, you see a little bit more volume with that, and it takes off. We saw that move, started looking good Tuesday, Wednesday, and then pulled right back to the 8-day, but on very low volume again. So now this basically sets up again just at the previous highs through there as a possible breakout. So I'm not sure if I'll have this on the watch list for Sunday, but does not look bad by any means. Could still work, but never really got going with the bounce back. Next, we have FEYE. This is one that I've traded a couple times now, both times for small losses. The first one, so this is, sorry, come on. High tight flag, it was around 90% up, pullback of 19%, 18%. So when we broke over this point through here, that was my first trade, but you could see right when I bought, it reversed, so it stopped me out, I don't know, 4% down. This then, let's see, this was last Friday, was right on the rising 20-day simple moving average. Volume was light during this flag, so that's a good sign. Not many people are trying to get out around this time. So I figured a break over Friday's high, or maybe even, I forget what I said in the video, but you could have picked any of these days' highs as a possible buy point. I think I got in, let's see here, 22.92. Yeah, I chose Thursday's high point. No, Friday's high point. Sorry, Friday's high is my buy point. And right after that, it squatted. And because I was trading defensively this week after Friday's flush, I was a little bit off my account balance high. I basically just took the trade off at the end of the day because I wasn't trying to hold a losing trade overnight. And that's something that I'll be covering later on. A lot of the stocks that I traded, if I didn't have a profit going into the close, I just took it off this week. You can see that, I mean, this chart could still work, just some sideways action. Now you're looking at, I think that was Tuesday's high, no, Wednesday's high, 23, 26. That could be another possible breakout point. But I mean, high tight flag still holding great, still holding up here really well. And now average true range ATR is coming in. So this could still work. Let me jump back to the comments to you guys. Earnings on the second. Okay, interesting. Yeah, I don't like to trade into earnings, so I'll have to look into that before. I'll hold into earnings if I have a 10% profit or so, but typically I'll take some of the position off anyway, just to book it. Earnings are always a flip of the coin, and I'm trying to have a little bit better odds than 50% as a trader. So next we have TENB. This one looked phenomenal on Tuesday. So the idea was just a break over Friday's high. We broke over that and we got up, and I bought on that day as well. Got up around 6% over the buy point. So I was up 6% immediately on the trade. Because I was trading defensively, I quickly moved half my stop up to even because it got up over 6%. And I just said, I don't want something that's up 6% to come all the way back and then check me out for a full stop. So I got stopped out halfway at even on the same day as a check back. And then things were looking fine. Wednesday, Thursday, just inside days. And then on Friday, lower highs, lower lows, now closed right on the 20-day and stopped me out of the rest a little bit below even. So this was another one. I got half of a free look on the trade because I got stopped out at half, and then only took a half stop on a name that didn't work. So not too bad there. And finally, we have JOE. This is another one caused by or helped with defensive trading because, I mean, this is just a really, really strong uptrend, 250, 28, all doing the right things. I bought it a little bit early. I think I bought it the 13th. I bought it last week over just this guy's high through here. Since then, we had a couple long lower wicks that really set up the trade for this week. So I said, I was on the breakout watch list, I said break over 46.17. That's buyable right through this pivot. And you see on, that would have been Wednesday, we did with tons of volume, everything looking great. So I was really happy when that happened. I think a couple people put this on their trading sites as well. I actually saw this up after hours pre-market on Thursday, so I decided to take some at 49.06. Yeah, so that's above the high. Thankfully, I did that. Not a ton, 20% of the position off there, and then I slid my stop right up to my entry because, again, trading defensively, things are getting frothy. If this checks back, I don't want to have any loss on a name that was up, let's see, 7%. So got stopped out of the rest right at my entry, or maybe even a little bit above. Let's see, 44.60, 44.58. So right at my entry. So got a risk-free look, got 20% off into strength, and I mean, even quality setups sometimes work against you, and that's why you always have to use stops. Always listen to your risk management. All right, so that was the Tik Tok account. Fortunately, it gave you 4 not so great setups to choose from, but I mean, I traded them myself, so it wasn't like I was trying to give you guys the worst ones. But good week for me. TikTok, I mean, TikTok account's still up 7% this year, and so that's really quality. So come back tomorrow. I'll have the breakout watch list ready, and you guys can vote for your favorite on my Twitter account. Next, let's review Sunday's watch list. A couple of those names that did pop: APPN up 20.7% from last Friday's close. MITK, that just got going on Friday, but average return from that list of 15 stocks was 3%. The market that during that time, right around market average, a little bit lower. mostly because we had this DMAC down 11.5%. So let's break down APPN and why I put DMAC on the list. So APPN, this is one that I did trade personally a couple times. So you see, got chopped up in here and then flushed out of the rest on this red candle. This set up a lower pivot through here. I didn't take it just because, I don't know, this flushed on volume. So you see higher volume on both these down days. So I was a little bit cautious about that. So I didn't take it at this lower pivot, and then had a great follow through day, 2 good volume days last week, then an inside day on Friday. So that set the trade up perfectly. I was taking it if we broke over the high from Thursday. That's exactly what I did. And then I was getting really defensive with my positions. I moved a lot of partial positions, stops up to low of the previous day on Thursday. So got shaken out of half the position with a break under under Wednesday's low, still at a profit there. And then the next day on Friday, this just took off again, more volume. I did take partial profits into strength there, but so now we're kind of, let's see, about 32% from that initial pivot point. Looking really good. I mean, doing all the right things, not violating or not causing any violations, but just because, again, I see the market getting really frothy. We're seeing random stocks that will, not random, but stocks go up 20% a day, 25% a day. That seems like exactly what was happening in September, right before we flushed. So I'm trying to put positions on, quickly cover my my entries with stops, and then take some profit on the way up, so I can kind of ride uh, the move up, but not put any actual capital risk on it. So that was APPN, really good move. DMAC, was our big loser from the Sunday watch list. This was high tide flag, 151% up, 20% back, but a much thinner traded name. So I did warn, if you're going to trade this, you got to do so with less size. This created kind of a nice pivot through here. And on Tuesday, it looked great. We broke over that, got up, and then it did squat. So that was the first kind of concerning sign, a squat after a breakout over all-time high there. And then the next day would have stopped anyone out with any risk management, but got another follow through day on Wednesday. And then Friday, lower highs, lower lows, but did close green, but on much, much lower volume. So probably not a chart that we'll look at until it sets up again in maybe a couple weeks. But that was the idea behind it. It did do exactly what we wanted, but once something squats that far down, maybe you take half off, protect your stop or protect your entry. All right, on a pullback, are you looking for a pivot or just a bounce off the 20-day? So I always look for pivots. I know some people trade just immediately when the stock pulls down to the 20-day simple moving average, but my idea is if something's pulling back, I have no idea how long it's going to be pulling back for. And as kind of like a breakout momentum trader, I only want my money in the market if the stock's immediately doing what I want. So that one thing that I did really well this week was, if something wasn't working, if I was red on the trade after I put it on that day, I just took it off. So PRLD, that was another one that we covered on Wednesday. Put that trade on Thursday as it broke over the pivot, but then I was down like 1% at the close, so I was like, let's just take that off. And then I think on Friday it ended up a little bit lower. So I'm always looking for kind of that low to be put in, some buyers to step in, create that pivot, pull it back, and then a break through the pivot shows some additional buyers going through what topped off at resistance. All right, so that was Sunday's watch list. Still averaged 3%, found some good winners. Wednesday's midweek movers, that was the really, really quality list. We had NNOX, which from just Wednesday's close, up 25.5%, FUBO up 25%, PLTR 23%, NEO up 7, and LAZR up 5. So tons of great names there. But this kind of action, 3 stocks up 25%, 20% in 2 trading days, it starts to feel a little bit like September before the market pulled back. But I mean, I played all of these, got stopped out of LAZR, but if you can get your money through the pivots and then protect your entry, I mean, then your initial capital, you're not risking anything outside of gap down days, which you can't really control. But the more exposure I could get in the market, getting through those pivots, getting my stops to entry, then if things continue to melt higher, I have more exposure in the market, which is always a good thing, as long as you keep your like initial risk the same. So huge breakouts into the close on Friday. Average return 3.9%, and the market during that time, I mean, we crushed it. We got all the right names. So hopefully you tuned in to the live stream on Wednesday. I do those every week, 7 p.m. Central. Make sure you tune in. So let's break down some of these charts. NNOX. This is one IPO, really kind of a cup handle and then went. I did a low cheat buy in here. So if you read Mark Minervini's Think and Trade Like a Champion, which I highly, highly recommend, that's what really changed my trading this year. You kind of saw the VCP setup, really a loose one though, kind of 61%, 40%, 22%. And then what really set the trade up for me when I first entered was we broke out, pulled back on this day, and then had an inside day. I think that was on a Thursday. I forget what day that was, but this inside day on the 7th set the trade up perfectly because it came on lower volume. And then when we break over the high from the 6th, the previous day, that was my buy point. I hit that with 10% position size, so my typical position. Got up, what was it? Ran up 12% over my buy point at that time. So I was able to quickly move my stop to my entry point. So took out the initial capital risk on the trade. Since then, just kind of traded sideways. I did take some off into strength on the 13th, but we covered this on Wednesday as you could have done just a pullback buy, but I am more cautious with those. I'm usually looking for pivots. So I said a break over 55.87, the high from the 14th. That could be a buy point. And we started off right in the previous day's candle. So you could have done just a pullback buy with a break over the previous day's high, but broke over that pivot on tons and tons of volume. And then on Friday, set higher highs and higher lows. So even though this moved, it was like 25% or something. Yeah, 25% from the previous day's close, shows really good strength. Not many people were trying to exit at this time. You see, I did take profits into both of those days, but that's not because like this chart is doing anything wrong. It's because I think personally, just what I think is the market's starting to get like a little frothy, and I'm not trying to have too much exposure, trying to sell some into strength. But if the market was just starting to emerge from like a base, and a lot of stocks had bases built up and weren't extended, I would not be selling as much as I did into strength here because this looked phenomenal. Let's see, any questions on NNOX? All right, let's go FUBO. All right, so this is one that obviously got very far extended. I think this was like 125% move or so, 130, whatever, and then just flushed with very high volume. So that was concerning for me. It did bounce off the 50-day and create a pivot through here, but we gapped up over that, so I didn't take kind of that trade. And even after we gapped up, when you have flushes of over 30% or so, usually the stock will need to carve out a little bit more of a base. So I was not surprised to see more of a pullback, which actually, if you look the low of the breakout day, 29.55 versus the low of kind of the pullback was 29.52. So that pullback undercut the low of the breakout by 3 cents. So if you had any, so I like to see that as someone on the outside of the trade, because a lot of people might have put the trade on with that breakout, put the stop right at the low, and got shaken out of there. So now uh, the only people in the trade are stronger hands. And we said you could buy with a break over this kind of 2-day pivot, the 19th and the 20th. The highs were basically the same, 32.50, 32.49. I didn't take the trade then, which, I mean, looking back, of course, stupid, but you never know what's going to work out. But my concern with that was we were under the 20-day simple moving average with the break at that area. And there was this volume shelf where if people traded this back up in here thinking it was going to just continue to break out, they might look to take some profit into that and see some selling pressure. The fact that we didn't break, or we didn't see much selling into there, we did start lower on Friday. So that set the trade up where if we just went red to green and took out the previous day's high, that is what I wanted to buy. And that's exactly what I did. Bought at 36.04. The previous high was 36. This didn't break out like NNOX or Palantir over on Friday, but because with this move, I moved half my stop to my entry, taking off half the risk at that point. And it's doing all the right things. We got tons of volume, got a good follow through day, and we're now over this this main volume shelf here. So, I mean, maybe this continues to take out some highs, and then once it gets over this guy's high, 44.40, really not much volume ahead. So, very little upward resistance. So I didn't buy, yeah, I just covered that. I didn't buy the first pivot just because we had this volume shelf, because I was trying to be cautious, trading very defensively, and I put on other trades that were working really well. So I mean, you can't catch them all, but got into the game on Friday with the break over 36. So we'll see if that keeps going. If not, I only have half my stop below my entry point, so very little risk on the trade. Let's go to Palantir. This is another one that has been frustrating, which is good in hindsight. The more frustrating a trade sets up, usually once it goes, people that were looking at it before and got stopped out, lost money, they'll come back to it and start bidding it even higher. So everyone in the world saw this flag forming. And of course, like I traded this lower pivot, probably like many people, the pivot on the 17th, that broke out on good volume, sold some into strength, got stopped out half my entry, half below, basically a risk-free trade there. And then we undercut the previous low in the pullback. So, or not the all-time low, but kind of once buyers stepped in and this started forming up into a flag, set these lows through here, we undercut that. So anyone in the trade at this point, they're stronger hands. It's not day traders, not swing traders through here, because you would have been stopped out on some of these candles. ARK bought it on the 14th. I bought after hours and then just took the trade off because, I mean, that's not my system. I shouldn't be buying just because someone else buys. So I took the trade off there. Got a pretty ugly candle on last Friday, but that's because all the growth stocks were flushing. But this set up the trade really well. You could have done just a pullback buy on Friday. We called this out on Wednesday, just saying if we broke over Friday's high of 28, that was where I was looking. That's exactly where I bought too. So you can see bought at 28. And then I did sell about half my position into the close. Again, not because this chart's doing anything wrong. This is a beautiful, beautiful chart, everything doing right. But just because I'm trying to not just trade one position, but trade with the market. But tons of volume on this breakout, stops at my entry, letting the rest kind of run from here. But another one that we called out on Wednesday's live stream. So, and I know we cover more than just the breakout or the stocks that break out. Some of the stocks don't end up working, but with all the stocks that I cover, I always just jump in, set an alert under the pivot point where I'm looking to buy, and then let the alerts tell me what's actually working and what's not. I'm not just randomly buying um, into a stock that is in a pullback that maybe could break out. I want to be putting capital into the market once we're actually breaking out and showing some strength. So that was PLTR. The big loser from Wednesday's watch list wasn't even that much of a loser, down what 4%. LSPD. This was looking just kind of as a pullback buy. Excuse me. Let's see, where was Wednesday? So had an inside day on Wednesday. That's what set up the trade. It showed up on my dead volume scanner. Very little people trying to get out on Wednesday. Stayed above the 8-day exponential moving average. So this could have been just like another pullback and go. Fortunately, Thursday, lower highs, lower lows, undercut and closed under the 8-day. Probably stopped you out there if you took the trade, but it never gave you a reason to take the trade. So that's why I'm saying I'm only buying on the way out. I'm not just randomly buying during a pullback because who knows how long this can pull back. So now sitting on the 20-day, high volume on the pullback. Maybe some of that is in running it back up to the 20-day, but I don't know. This will need more time to set up. All right, so those were the two watch lists. We did very well on Wednesday. Still found a couple winners from the Sunday watch list. Let's jump to current holds. So right now I'm about 55% net long invested. I don't have any short positions, but you can see all the positions that I do have are much lighter position size. Typically, when things are just acting normal, I have 10% as my initial position that I put on a trade. I'll go from 10 to sometimes 20%. Not likely. I've only done that a couple times. Usually it's about 10%. But now, two stocks I'm holding that have 5% or more. 8 stocks between 3 and 5, and then I have a couple of stocks that I'm just kind of bleeding off the gains at this point. But I only have one stock that I'm holding that is a losing position right now, and it's very close to being stopped out. That's this FDMT. So all of these trades are profitable. All their stops are at or above their entry. So the initial capital risk isn't there on these trades, even though I have 55% exposure into the market. So let's cover a couple of the trades that I made. NIO, UAVS, and JMIA, and we'll wrap it up there. So NEO. And this was part of my free look Friday that I was trying, where if positions were working, they were working right away, and I was moving my stops to my entry or half stops to my entry. Because I'm not opposed to trading as a market's melting up as long as I can protect my initial capital. So NIO, this one I traded on Thinkorswim. I'm switching over from E-Trade to Thinkorswim gradually, so I get used to it, but. This one was on Wednesday's watch list as well, formed a nice pivot there. We undercut the lows on Thursday, so never got into a buying position on Thursday, so no harm with that day. And then I think got an upgrade, opened right at the 8-day, took out the pivot. That was my buy point, $60, 60.09, whatever it was. And then we got going a little bit. Half my stops at my entry, half of it is at the low of the day. So very, very little risk on that. NEO, obviously zooming out, very powerful name in 2020. Things continuing to look good in 2021. So something that I want to be a part of with very little capital risk. Next, we have the big winner of the year for me, and this is one that Leif put on, UAVS, high tight or not high tight flag, but just a cup and handle here, 230% up. You can see kind of through there, cup handle. Lower pivot through here, I didn't quite get filled. Once it jumped over this pivot, everyone was jumping in and buying it, so I got filled at like 861. The ideal fill would have been 827, but ran 40% that day, squatted. I did take some into profit there. Monday had a good, or Tuesday, good good Tuesday. Had another follow through day on Wednesday. Took some off into strength there. Wait, sorry, that was Friday. Tuesday, good day. Sold some into strength. This had great relative strength on Friday. While everything else was flushing, it was up 6%. That's why I did not want to take anything off on Friday, because if the market turned back at all on the following Tuesday, I knew this was going to run. 25% up day on Tuesday, took some into strength there. Another, what was this? Another 20% up day on Wednesday, took some into strength there. Sold some on the rally back up here just to get some exposure off, but had an inside day on Friday. Thursdays and Fridays candles, very, very little volume trying to escape. So even though this is now, well, now it's 70% above what would have been a perfect kind of pivot buy, or if you bought just like a break of all-time highs, um, even though it's 54% above that, not many people are trying to get out. All the people trying to get out are probably short-term traders or swing traders like me trying to book partial profits, but not trying to liquidate their full position. Look at the volume on the way out versus the way back in, and this is just tightening up. So this could be another one. Maybe it goes through, I don't know, a week or so of flagging out here, allows the 8-day exponential moving average to come up. Maybe it creates an add position, but stop well above entry on this guy and looks incredibly strong. And let's go JMIA. This is another one that Leif put on. Traded this earlier with just a flat top breakout over 41. Sold some into strength, got stopped out of the rest at 41. Did create this lower pivot that I did buy, and then unfortunately I just took off because I think I was over trading that day. I forget exactly what happened, but just took it off. The next day it ran even more, and then came back in on lower volume to the 8-day. Had this beautiful flush on Thursday to the 20-day simple moving average. So anyone with tight stops through here, undercut all those lows, and then set up Friday really well. I got in with a break over 47.65, the high from Wednesday, and just took some into strength. This wasn't a full position size. I only put 5% on this trade, but closed right at the high of the day, up a ton after hours. But I mean, we have the whole weekend to see what shakes out. So, but doing all the right things. Stop at my entry on this. No initial capital risk on the remaining part. But did want to cover a couple trades that I put on and then immediately took off. DDD bought with a break over just all-time high here. This was just basically a volume play, volume tons. All right, and CLNE, this was a one that I traded earlier. Low volume pullback here, and broke out. I think I took it just over the pullback by 10.03. Another one that Leif traded. Got going, sold some, or no, I just protected my stop, or protected my entry with the stop. So basically all the trading that I was doing this week was, let's get some money through the pivots, let's quickly protect your entries, take some off the top, and even by trading defensively, not really allowing the stocks to work back against me at any point, I was able to have my best trading week since I started tracking it. So you can trade defensively, you can trade with a strategy. It's not just about buying the dips, and you could still be a really profitable trader. So that is going to be the trading recap. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and share this with any traders that you know that are trying to find their own risk management or trading strategies. Give me a follow on StockTwits, TikTok, and Twitter, and I'll see you guys tomorrow morning for the Breakout Watchlist. And remember to vote on that for the TikTok Trading Challenge. All right, take care.